Starting at the bottom of the card, we've got Michihiro Omigawa and Darren Elkins. Actually, this is going to be quite a good match. Michihiro has a record of 12-9, usually wins or loses by decision. In his past, he has managed to overcome some calibers, Micah Miller, LC Davis and Nam Pham, for a start. Darren Elkins almost the same in terms of record, 11-2, but he's different. He has never seen a decision, and his wins are over people like Pat Curran and Wayne Ludwig. Now, because he's finished them, I think I'm going to favour him over Omigawa, and I'm going to go for a bar submission in the second there. Joey Beltran is facing Aaron Rosa. Now, Aaron Rosa has come up several times in my predictions in brief set of videos I did. His record is 16-3. He wins by TKO or decision, but this is his debut, and his background doesn't have many calibers. He's come from some of the smaller shows that I covered. Joey Beltran, he is coming off 2 losses in a row. Those are to Patrick Barry and Matt Mitrione, but both were losses by decision. His nickname is the Mexecutioner. I just think that's fantastic, I really do. He should be able to win this one. It's not quite a squash match, but this one should be a reasonably strong win for Joey Beltran. I'm going to go for a finish here, and I'm going to say, let's say, TKO in the third there. Dustin Poirier is fighting Jason Young. Jason Young is another debutee. I recognise him because he is a Cage Rage person. He's been in there. His record 8-3. He wins by TKO or decision. All his losses are submission losses. It's okay because Dustin Poirier is a TKO specialist, but he's never been finished, and he had wins over the likes of Josh Grisby and Zach Micklewright. Now Josh Grisby is worth mentioning there. His record only slightly better, it's 9-1. I'm going to go for Dustin Poirier. I shall go for, I might even go for submission here, and I shall go for, yes, I shall go for a bar submission in the third there. Mike Ring is facing James Head. Nick Ring, has a perfect record of 11, usually wins by submission. Who is James Head, you might say? I don't know who James Head is, but I do know that his last match was to beat Gerald Harris. Not in the UFC, but Gerald Harris you will remember from the UFC. So I think that qualifies him. Having said that, I'm still, I think, going to go for Nick Ring. I think if James Head were to win here, he would be catapulted into at least a recognition. But I'm going to say I don't think he will. I might go for decision Nick Ring here. Krzysztof Sosninski is fighting Igor Pokrajic, two of the most difficult to spell names on the planet, and they are fighting each other. Again, outrageous records here. Krzysztof 25-11, Igor 23-8. Both of them are winners by TKO or submission. 10-11 respectively for Krzysztof, 12-8 respectively for Igor. Both of them also have pretty unreliable records, to be honest. Krzysztof, win, loss, win, loss, win. Igor, loss, loss, win, loss, win. The difference here is that Krzysztof has possibly faced higher calibers, but Igor I found sort of more exciting. I don't know who I'm going to go for here. I might regret this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Igor Pokrajic by TKO in the third. Chris, I don't know if this is Weidman or Weidman, to be honest. Perfect record of 5, He is a Matt Serra trained fighter whose claim to fame is by beating Alessio Sakara. I'm going to go for Jesse Bongfeld here. I'm going to say, why don't we go for submission? We'll go for a choke submission in the second there. Sam Stout and Yves Edwards. Wow! Yves Edwards has a stupid record, 40-16. That's 40, and 16. So it won't surprise you that he's got 14 TKO victories and 17 submission victories. He also has a reasonably good background in American top team. He has faced all sorts of calibers. Sam Stout has faced a lot of calibers, but doesn't really have quite as long a record. I think his is 16-6. It could be 10-6. I don't know, because that's 0 or 6 at the end of the. It hasn't been written properly, but there we are. He has a good background as well with Team Tompkins. Do you know, I think this might end up being a Sam Stout split decision victory. I'm hoping this is going to be an absolute war on their feet, and I'm hoping that also Yves Edwards will try at least several submissions, and Sam Stout will show that he has submission defence. That's what I'm hoping for in that one. Could be extremely exciting. Donald Cerrone and Wagner Rocha. Wagner Rocha, 6-1, wins by submission. Donald Cerrone, you should know, former WEC champion, 14-3. Also a Jackson's trained fighter, but he doesn't seem to, and he does wrestle as well, but he doesn't seem to embarrass quite like a lot of the other Jackson fighters who will wrestle not to lose rather than to win. Donald Cerrone is unlikely to do that. He generally tends to finish. He's got submission victories. This is a squash match, and he should have no trouble here. Why they're doing this, I don't quite know, but there we are. I'll go for a choke submission in the first there. Demian Maia and Mark Munoz. Again, this is an interesting one. Damian Maia could win this one, but he will have to use his submissions on the ground, and he hasn't done that in quite some time. Mark Munoz, if he can knock out CB Dollaway, he can do it to Demian Maia. So the question is, who's going to get it to the ground? I think Demian Maia might, but I think Mark Munoz stands more chance, so I'm going to go for him. I'll go for TKO in the second. Right, John Olive Ainamo has qualified himself here with a record of 6-1 because his last two matches are a loss by decision to Verdun and a win with submission over James Thompson. He's fighting Dave Herman, and his record is much higher, 20-2 with 14 TKO victories. He has never been subbed, which is unfortunate because of course John Olive's speciality is submission. You know, I think this is I think he does qualify himself, and I hope that if he loses, he'll be able to be given another chance against somebody with a lesser record. I'm going to go for Dave Herman, and I'll go for TKO in the third. Right, Kenny Florian and Diego Nunes. Diego Nunes and his background is strong enough to make this competitive, and Kenny Florian has the skills to finish, but I don't think he will. I shall go for Kenny Florian by decision. And finally, the main event is Junior Dos Santos and Shane Carwin. I like them both. Junior Dos Santos has to weather the early storm against Shane Carwin if he wants to win, and we should expect him to be able to do that if he is going to be able to finish somebody like Brock Lesnar. The question is, can he? I think this will be a heart overhead one, maybe I'll go for Junior Dos Santos.